You know, so much of our life is online now. We're constantly sharing things. But what happens when the stuff you need to share is really, really sensitive? I'm talking about things like legal contracts, private medical records, or even secret business plans. How in the world do you send that stuff to someone without just completely losing control of it? It's honestly one of the biggest headaches of our digital lives, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into today.
Oh, you know that feeling, right? That little jolt of panic, that split second after you've hit send on a super important file, and your mind just starts racing. Who can see this now? Where is it actually being stored? And the big one, can I ever get it back? It's a feeling we've all had, and it comes from a pretty simple and honestly unsettling truth about how the internet works today. Because the moment you click that send button, poof, you've essentially just given away a copy of your data. It's not just yours anymore. It's now sitting on some company's server, maybe it's copied across multiple servers all over the world, and it's completely out of your hands. You've given up your ownership, and all you have left is hope. Hope that they're handling it the right way.
And this right here is the heart of what we can call the problem with send. It's this huge gap between what we think is happening when we share something online versus the messy reality of what's going on behind the curtain.
Look, we're sold this promise, right? We're told our sharing is secure, it's private, and that we're in control. But the reality? It's often a totally different story. The companies running these services might have access to your files. They might be scanning them for data. And you better believe they're making copies that you can never truly delete. It's really just an illusion of control, and it's built on a foundation of blind trust.
Okay, but what if we could just redesign the whole thing? What if there was a way to share a file that actually keeps you in the driver's seat from start to finish, no matter what? Well, that's the whole idea behind a completely new way of thinking about sharing.
And this is where something called SolCipher Kiro comes into the picture. It's a privacy-first, decentralized app that was built from the ground up to solve this exact problem. Now, there are two key phrases here: end-to-end encrypted, and you are always in control. And that's not just some marketing slogan. It's literally the entire point of the system.
So, how does it pull this off? It all comes down to something called client-side encryption. Before your file even thinks about leaving your computer, it gets locked down with military-grade AES 256 encryption. The key to unlock it? It's created on your device and it never ever leaves. So what does that mean? It means that when your file is out there on the internet, to everyone else it just looks like a bunch of scrambled, unreadable gibberish.
Okay, so that's the big idea, but what's it actually like to use? You'd think with all this high-tech stuff going on, it'd be super complicated, right? Well, the process is actually designed to be incredibly simple.
I want you to think of it like a digital safe deposit box. First, step one, you lock your file inside this box, and you do it right there on your own computer. Then, step two, you take that locked box and you put it in a global, decentralized public vault. This isn't one company's server, it's a worldwide tamper-proof network. And finally, step three, you issue a special digital pass to the person you want to share with. And here's the kicker, you control every single one of those passes.
But this is the real game changer. What happens if you change your mind or the project is over and you want to take back access? You just revoke their pass. That's it. That action gets stamped onto a public ledger, creating a permanent, unchangeable record. The second you click revoke, their access is gone, instantly. No waiting, no asking for permission, just absolute, pure control.
Now this might sound a little bit like magic, but I promise you it's not. It's just a really clever mix of three core decentralized technologies. They all work together to build a system where you don't have to trust a company because you can actually verify everything for yourself. So let's peek under the hood at the tech that makes this all possible. So that vault we talked about, that's something called IPFS, the Interplanetary File System. Instead of sending your locked file to one server owned by one company, IPFS spreads it out and stores it across a massive global network of computers. This makes it super resilient and pretty much impossible for any one person or company to mess with it or delete it. And the digital access card, that's powered by a technology called Kiro. Kiro is what handles your digital identity and gives you the power to create and hand out these secure, verifiable passes. It's the engine that lets you prove you are who you say you are and gives you the authority to grant and, more importantly, to revoke access to your stuff. And finally, there's Hedera, which acts like a public notary for the whole system. It's an unbelievably fast and cheap network that creates a permanent, unchangeable public log of every single important action. So when you share a file Or when you revoke access, Hedera timestamps it and records it forever. It's the ultimate source of truth for who has access to what and when.
So when you put it all together, this decentralized vault, these digital access cards, and this public notary, what you get is a totally new, fundamentally different way to manage your data. So what does this actually mean for you in the real world?
Well, the uses for this are immediate and, frankly, pretty powerful. Imagine lawyers and clients sharing sensitive legal documents, or transferring medical records with total security, or sending out an NDA knowing you can cut off access the second it's signed. We're talking about financial reports, creative work, really any kind of sensitive data where control is just not optional.
And looking a little further down the road, this tech opens the door to even more mind-blowing privacy features, like something called zero-knowledge proofs. Get this, imagine being able to prove you're a doctor to access a patient's file, but without ever revealing your actual name or identity. It's about proving a fact is true without having to give up any of your personal data to do it.
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. This whole system is built not on trusting a company's marketing promises, but on being able to verify every action through transparent code and public records. It completely flips the old model of online privacy on its head and leaves us with this one really powerful thought. What if you never had to trust a company with your data ever again?